But there you go. And Lloyd Bear, your dad, Ethan, was so great when we did hometown hockey in Regina, and all your buddies from Ochapaway. So really nice to see you on the show with Scott Oake. And Scott, we'll hand it with that to you.
Thank you, Ron. Yes, Ethan Bear was originally scheduled to be our guest in After Hours 1 month ago, but that game as well went to overtime and a shootout, and it wouldn't have been fair to have limited time with someone who's got a story to tell like Ethan's. And so we've reserved the entire show for you tonight, which is to say you're a big deal. How's that for an opening?
Yeah, I'll take anything I can get.
All right. Let's start with, Ethan, how you've reestablished your young career here in Vancouver. How do you think it's working here?
I think it's great. Obviously I haven't played in a while, and before I came here, and obviously I had a lot of motivation, and I was just making sure I work hard and take care of myself and away from the rink. And so when I got a chance when I came here, I'd be ready to go and play my best, and I think I've done a good job of that so far.
You're playing 17 to 20 minutes a game here, which is a far cry from what you played in Carolina, which actually was nothing at all, and COVID had a lot to do with that. You came down with it last November, and it wasn't one of those mild cases that many of us have had. How did COVID affect you?
It definitely took a toll on me. I was playing well before that, and then after that, it took me a long time to bounce back and kind of try to get my groove going. And once that happened, obviously, I lost my chance to play, and I guess that's just the way it goes in this league. You got to be dependable every night, and it's just a tough bounce for me. So it's good to be back where doing things I'm capable of.
Well, you stepped directly into the Canuck lineup when they acquired you in late October, and you've been everything they hoped you would be. Tell me what perhaps the highlight of your short time here in Vancouver meant to you, and that would be the winning goal in Colorado 10 days ago.
That was a very special feeling. Obviously, I pride myself on a good shot, and obviously, anytime you score a big goal to help the team win, it's just it's just an amazing feeling, and I'm definitely something I'm very proud of, and it took a long time to be here, so hopefully I can just keep things going.
All right, your Indigenous heritage is everything to you, and that takes us to Ochapaway. It's a Cree Nation in southern Saskatchewan, not far from the Manitoba border. The pictures we're going to show here, by the way, are courtesy of Serendipity Media. Your parents owned the store on the reserve, and you would not be in the NHL today were it not for unconditional access to the Chief Denton George Arena or Multiplex. Tie those two things together for us.
Before we had that, Chief Denton George Memorialplex, we had the Fred Bear, it was called. It was very old, rugged rink, but at the time it was open to everybody and anybody whenever there wasn't a game or practice, and so a majority of us kids, spent our pretty much our whole childhood there, right from school's over till closing time.
So you go to the store for a snack after school?
No, I definitely go. I was lucky my parents owned the store, so I just go and grab something to eat, head over to the rink, and if there's practice or something, walk back to the store till it was over, and just go back. And pretty much that's how I made most of my friendships and relationships back home, and it's something I'm very grateful for, because I definitely wouldn't be here without it.
And your mother Geraldine would come to get you in the early evening to come home for supper, and she says you would hide from her.
Yeah, I just I'd skate to the end of the rink till make her come all that way. When she came back that way, I'd go back to the other end. So maybe bought myself a couple more minutes, but once she sent somebody else to go get me, I'd have to go home.
I should imagine for most of those moments on the ice at the Chief Denton George Arena that you were thinking about and dreaming about playing in the NHL, and your dream has come true. Significant not just for you, but for everyone at Ochapaway. And so that takes us to this picture, the Ethan Bear sign in front of the Denton George Multiplex. What do you think when you see that sign? It's just rewarding. It reminds me of home, and that's a place I'll never forget. And for them to acknowledge me and show me that respect, it's a huge honor. I just want to lead the way for the other kids in the next generation, and just show them that if you put your mind to it, you could do the same thing. And and that's what it's about. Just taking that extra step and believing in yourself, and you never know where it could take you. I never thought. It was my dream to play in the NHL. I never thought I'd be here this early. So, it's been a great ride, and I just want to keep being a leader any way I can. You have, when you've been asked about inspiration, listed a number of Indigenous players that you looked up to as a kid. I'm wondering if that list started with Jonathan Chichu. You'd have been 8 on Opachwe, I think, around about 8, when Chichu was tearing it up with the San Jose Sharks in 05-06. He scored 56 goals. What do you remember about watching Jonathan Chichu?
I mean, I remember, you know, how good of a season he had then, and yeah, obviously when there's a native player in the league and you know, they're doing well, you want to, you know, idolize them, watch them, and
that's what you looked like when you were watching him. And here's Chichu.
Yeah, no, and it was obviously it's something special. You know, obviously he's you know, he definitely paved the way for us, and he's definitely, you know, someone that, you know, a lot of kids can look up to, and yeah, him. Tutu, Carey Price, you know, Reggie Leach. There's so many guys who've honestly, and you know, even Fred Tasak, these guys who've done it before. So it's just you know, kudos to Chichu for scoring 50, because you never know when the next time the native guy's going to be able to do that. But that's pretty special.
You left Ochapaway at age 16 to play for the Seattle Thunderbirds of the Western League, and it was immediately apparent that all those hours on the ice at Ochapaway paid off, because you had 4 good years in Seattle, and the Oilers then took you 5th in the 5th round in 2015, so that was the payoff. But along the way, the Seattle Thunderbirds did something special, and so this question from Ken Karuska asked Ethan Bear to recall the day, and it's actually days, I think, that his Seattle Thunderbirds of the WHL held its practice at his hometown rink in Ochapaway in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that was you know, that was unexpected. I guess you know, obviously going there, you never think your WHL team's going to come practice in your home community, and then especially a native community. And you know, obviously it's the GM talked to my parents who arranged it, and have said they'd done it to a player in the past. And yeah, it was definitely a cool feeling, especially, you know, from knowing where I come from and how rural it is to other players. And you know, I had a couple friends who came to Ochapoways before, but you know, we have guys from Denmark and Russia and then, you know, Americans. And so when they come to the res, they only see one stop sign and no lights and one gas station. They're like, where the hell are we? And then they see a fancy rink. So definitely a cool experience. And, you know, to have the community come support us, you know, kids making signs for every player, you know, having a nice traditional meal for us, and then, you know, just having pretty much a sold out practice. And then it was pretty cool, and, you know, everyone got to watch. And then we did like I think it was like a free skate with the kids afterwards, and then we did a signing. So it was definitely you know, something that's I'll remember forever, and I'm very thankful I got that opportunity to not only share that with my teammates but with my community.
Those practices, in a way, led to the hockey school that you run annually on Ochapaway. Earlier, I mentioned the video courtesy of Serendipity Media. They did a wonderful documentary on your hockey school that ran on Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Day. They called it Camp of Dreams. It focused on the importance of the school to the kids of Ochapaway. I could ramble on here at some length, or we could look at the trailer for the documentary to get the point of what we're talking about.
The obstacles, right? As an Indigenous person, it's not always easy.
It's hard. The suicides.
My name's Ethan Bear. I play for the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm a defenseman, and I'm from Ochapoways First Nation.
Fighting the intergenerational traumas of alcohol and drugs, he shouldn't be in the NHL.
Ready? Yeah. Coming out. Good job. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, you're doing it right. Your team leader. You're okay. This is the next generation, you know, like sooner or later these kids are gonna be 20, 30 years old. The influence we have on them today could be, you know, they could be the leaders of our next future.
Kids to see that he can do it gives lots of kids hope that it's achievable.
And that's why I appreciate the community of Ochapoways, because we stick together.
He brought that inspiration. If one can dream, one could achieve.
I just want to lead by example.
Wow. So in that trailer, we heard from, besides you, your fiancée, Lenasia, and the two men were Courage Bear, who was your minor hockey coach, and headman Albert George, who was a counselor on Ochapowace. Both relatives, I think.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I watched the entire documentary. It's compelling, and for me, the essential message is that the kids of Ochapowace need something to look forward to, and your hockey school tops the list. Fair?
Yeah, I mean, I could, yeah, I sure hope so. That's fair. I think so. You know, something definitely I look forward to, and yeah, it's just really nice to give back and just be there for them because it's I wish I had that opportunity from guys I looked up to growing up as well. So it's just it's definitely emotional for me, but it's something I love doing every year.
Well, the boys and girls of Ochapowace, we know, count the days to the hockey school, so let's have a quick look at opening day.
We're excited to have you guys. We'll have some fun. My name's Ethan. Yeah, so thanks for coming to our camp. We'll have 4 days to get to know each other and have some fun, and that's the whole point of it. Yeah. So that's good. I'm having fun too.
How eagerly, Ethan, do you anticipate that week?
Yeah, I guess every year it's something that it takes a lot of planning too. It's not easy to run a hockey school with that many kids, but definitely got a lot of hands on deck and a lot of people who put in a lot of time and effort to make it possible. And I'm just I'm grateful I got that opportunity to be able to give back. But obviously they have Courage, my mom Geraldine and Lenasia, and then all the instructors that my friends who I've played hockey with in the past all come out, and I even have some family that help out. And it's just it's awesome. Like it's something that unless you do it, you don't really understand how much fun it actually is. And it's not just work. You get to create relationships with these kids and actually get to know them on a personal level. And honestly, they'll brighten your day and surprise you with the weirdest questions and they'll just make you laugh, and it just makes you appreciate to be able to play the sport, to be healthy, and just to be out there and work hard and actually enjoy hockey for what it is. And you don't got to be the best. You don't have to be the most skilled or have the nicest stuff. As long as you're out there competing, having fun, and that's what it's about.
Your mother, Geraldine, might not be the most objective observer on all things, Ethan, but who's going to argue with her over her description of how you communicate with the boys and girls?
And he comes down to their level and treats them as important as anyone else. And that's what I like about it. He's sharing the skills, but also sharing himself with them. And I hear the struggles. I hear some of the stories as I was talking to the parents throughout the camp.
And once again, we want to thank Serendipity Media for allowing us to use a couple of portions of the documentary Camp of Dreams. Your mother referenced struggles, and in the trailer to the documentary, headman Albert George referenced suicides. There can be no greater tragedy. It's almost unspeakable. In the time we have here tonight, we can't get into the cause and effect of suicides, but I will ask you, how deeply affected were you by what happened on Ochapowace in your rookie season?
Yeah, obviously it was tough. And people are taking their lives, people you've known your whole life, and it's tough because you understand what they're going through. I grew up there, and when I go home, sometimes I can feel how lonely it could feel sometimes. And if you're alone, I'm lucky to have my family, but not everybody has everyone there for them, and so that's why for myself, I just try to be a light in their darkness and honestly play my best, and when I get a chance to go home, to show them I'm there for them, because I'm very fortunate to be able to come out and play this game and had the support and from my parents to grow up to be here. So it's just for me, it's just I just want to just kind of help whenever I can. So when all that happened, I just for myself, it was to go home and put on a rec game and bring everyone together, and that's what it was about at that time. And so hopefully the hockey school is one thing that it can show them that they're not forgotten about, and every day you can push to to keep going, and you never know who you're surviving for and who you're fighting for.
So you turned it into a positive event. It became an event at the Chief Denton George Multiplex.
Yeah.
We cannot ignore what happened to you In the spring of 21, the first-round series with the Winnipeg Jets, deciding game, committed a turnover, led to the tying goal by the Jets. It also led to a series of racist messages on social media. With the support of your fiancée, Lenasia, you called out the hatred. Let's have a look.
Hello everyone, it's Ethan Bear here in Rogers Place, on Treaty 6 territory, home of the Edmonton Oilers.
In fact, Ethan, during that message, you opted for love and hope. You said that message was probably the hardest thing you ever had to do. Why, when it seemed such an obvious thing to do?
I mean, whenever you put yourself out there and to try to make change, and that's when you get the most backlash. It's easy to hop in the shadows and not say anything, and no one's gonna. But when you try to make a difference, people don't like it, and that's when they push comes to shove, and people don't like change, and that's just the way it is. It's not gonna that's why it's so hard to try and make a difference in this world. So. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a tough thing to go through. Obviously, being a tying goal, like it'd be different if it was a game-winning goal. But it's just something that I just didn't want another player to have to go through it as bad as I did, and it still happens to this day. But at least now that it happens, everyone brings it up and talks about it. So whether I helped or not, it is just something that I felt like I had to do. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without my fiancée Lenasia and my family behind me.
You've always tried to lead your life according to the words of your grandmother, which is love one another and be kind. And that credo obviously was tested on that occasion, but you won. There have been almost 8,000 players in the NHL since 1917, and only about 80 of them Indigenous. At last count, there were 6 active Indigenous players in this league. Currently, 6 active Indigenous players. They are Zach Whitecloud, TJ Oshie, Brandon Montour, Travis Hamonic, Carey Price, and you. When you think about the long history of hockey in First Nation communities and you see the talent at places like your hockey school, what do you think of this underrepresentation?
It's definitely something I'd love to help improve. Obviously, it's it's definitely a low number, but at the end of the day, it's the best league in the world, and that just shows how hard it is to make it. So if you could motivate some one kid or a family to to help push them, and that's the thing is you need to be able to have that drive and that want to be here, and that's the kind of league it is. It's just there's players from all over the world, and there's only 800, 900 spots. It sounds like a lot, but it's not, and it's just something I encourage kids to to keep pushing, and definitely Indigenous kids to. If they have any questions or answers, I'm there for them, and I just support them any way I can, because I know how hard it is.
Much of this discussion obviously is focused on you as an inspiration. So this question from Katie: what's it like to go from inspiring people from your home in Ochapowace in Saskatchewan to inspiring over 200 incredibly diverse coastal and inland nations of British Columbia as a Canuck?
It's fun. It's a pleasure. It's definitely something that I take pride in, and as I work for, I work towards every day, just trying to improve as a person, improve as a hockey player. Every time I'm out there, I just want to play my heart out and just play because I have fun and I enjoy it. I love the game, and that's the way I do it.
All right, before we run out of time, a couple of important points. Your pride in your Indigenous heritage is obvious at first glance at your Edmonton and Carolina sweaters, which had your name in Cree syllabic. So Duncan asked this question: do you plan to return to your Indigenous last name spelling on your Canuck sweater?
I mean, yeah, I would love to have that opportunity. If the NHL allows it, I'd love to, maybe wear it in warm-ups or, wear it in one game, whatever it may be. I'd love to, do it, and it's nice to do something different every once in a while.
You and Lenasia are a team. She's a tremendous source of support to you. So let's have a look at this very important picture. This is your engagement picture. Have you set the date?
Yes, we have. July 29th will be the date.
Okay,
and where though?
And have you booked the Chief Denton George multiplex?
No, I definitely can't.
You don't have to share the plans with us.
Enough room in there.
Okay. Here's a question that we just got from Lori Jean, and it's breaking news actually for this program. How excited are you on becoming a dad, and who's given you the best parenting advice, which is to say, Lanesha's with child?
Yes, definitely do. February we'll be welcoming a new baby girl. So, yeah, I know it's very exciting. It's obviously something I ask the guys who are dads all about it every day, and it sounds like I'm gonna have my hands full for a while. So I'm excited for that. I got nothing to do at home after hockey's over anyway. So
okay,
so I'll be excited.
Perfect. Great way to end this, Ethan. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Ethan Bear, who's got his career going again in Vancouver and ever mindful of where he comes from. Back to conclude proceedings at Rogers Arena in a moment.